Hi, welcome back to Agile Apothecary. My name is Masha, and on this channel we talk about everything Agile and a little bit about Japan. In today's video, I would like to talk to you about Agile coaches. What are the traits which make a good Agile coach? Of course, this is just my personal opinion and it's based on my own experience working with a lot of Agile coaches in different capacity, in different scenarios, different situations. And you can choose to agree or disagree. It's up to you, but I hope it would be helpful for you if you, for example, decide to hire an Agile coach for your team, for your organization, or if you decide to become an Agile coach yourself. Hopefully it will give you some clue on which qualities are important to be successful in this role. I'm not going to cover the expertise and knowledge of different Agile frameworks and tools. I hope that goes without saying. And in this video, I'd like to focus a little bit more on the general approach, on the mindset, and other things that make a good Agile coach, given that they, of course, have all the necessary expertise and knowledge. So let's get started. Number one, focus on outcomes. Good Agile coach, in my opinion, would be very conscious of the business outcomes that the company is trying to achieve, of the customer value, of the business goals, rather than just making the company agile for the sake of doing it. So when we apply Agile frameworks or tools, when we go through Agile transformation, this should be for a reason, not just to become Agile because all the cool kids are doing it, but because we want to improve certain results, we want to achieve better outcomes, and a good Agile coach needs to really understand what is behind this Agile transformation, why we are doing things in this way, and what is the ultimate end goal. While I definitely have reservations about coaches who focus on agility just for the sake of being Agile. Number two, flexibility. In the world of Agile, where we're supposed to be welcoming to the change and be very flexible, it is funny how some coaches are very strict, very dogmatic about the frameworks, about tools. So if a coach is saying that user stories should be only written in this particular way, or you can't be Agile if you don't do, let's say, estimation and story points, that should be a red flag. So a good Agile coach knows when it's okay to bend the rules, knows how they can change, adjust different frameworks, processes, tools to meet the requirements, to meet the needs of the team, to help them to be successful and to help them to deliver the business value that we were just talking about. So on a practical level, when a coach is presented with a certain problem, let's say a problematic team which is not doing the processes necessarily in the most efficient way, they need to start by digging deeper into understanding why it is being done this way, what is going on in this team, what are their goals, what they're trying to do, and only then propose certain solutions rather than just trying to implement certain frameworks, processes, or tools by the book. Number three, active listening. When I start working with a new team, I spend quite some time being quiet and just observing what is going on and trying to understand their point of view and trying to understand why they're doing certain things in certain way. And I believe this is very important. And I have seen quite a lot of coaches who really enjoy listening to the sound of their own voice and constantly telling people what to do, how to do, and why they need to be doing things in a certain way. I'm convinced that the only way to change processes in a team is when the team acknowledges the need for change. And they would only be able to do it if they acknowledge they have a problem. And to be able to bring them to this point, you need to ask the right questions and listen and listen and listen and spend quite some time digging deeper, understanding the underlying issues, and only then propose certain solutions. So active listening is a critical element, a critical skill that makes a good coach. Number 4, systems thinking. A good coach needs to understand the whole complexity of the organization and how every team fits into the structure. If they are only looking at one particular team without understanding all the complexities, all the dependencies happening around them, they won't be able to really help them. Sure, to some extent, they might help them to improve the processes, to bring the right tools, and to coach them how to be, let's say, a bit more agile, but they won't be able to change their organization. They won't be able to uplift the whole organization, and I think this is a very critical skill for agile coaches to be able to do so, to see the whole organization, not just the processes but also the structure, also all the, let's say, vendors relationship, the hierarchy in the organization, formal, informal, also all the historical context of the organization as well. So only after you are able to embrace the whole picture and see the organization as a whole, you would be able to bring a lot of value to the organization as a coach. Number 5, it goes together with systems thinking and it's strategic thinking. So an agile coach needs to plan in advance how to work with a team, and they need to be strategic. Of course, if you give me a team with a lot of issues and you ask me what could help them, I can come with a whole list of suggestions for improvement, but it does not necessarily mean that when I'm working with a team, I will bring them the whole list right away. Usually we would do it step by step and in a particular sequence, which is making sense for this particular team. It could be different for another team, because I want them to be receptive to change, because I want them to really implement those improvements gradually and understand the value of those, and because we can't change overnight and that could be very stressful, we want to address the problem starting from the most important and only then focus on the minor ones. And we want to be able to build some know-how, some best practices that we could later expand to the rest of the organization. So being strategic about the steps that you take, about the coaching approach, depending on the team, depending on the people that you have on the team, on, again, historical context and cultural context, is very, very important for the success of Agile coach. And finally, number 6, I hope this is a more straightforward one, it's facilitation skills. A good Agile coach needs to know how to coach and how to provide trainings to the organization. So they need to know how to facilitate different events, whether it's team ceremonies or workshops or trainings, and they need to be able to speak in front of the crowd, be able to always stay positive, engaging, have the right tone for the right audience, and keep people interested in what they're saying and deliver information in a very engaging way. Also, when it comes to facilitation, it's all about time boxing the events, making sure that all the people have opportunity to speak up, again, asking the right questions, thinking on the go, adjusting to the situation, and always staying conscious of the outcomes that we want to achieve and striving to achieve those outcomes. I really hope that this was helpful. If you have your own criteria for good Agile coaches or red flags to identify not so good Agile coaches, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.